I would like to introduce our third speaker this morning, who hardly needs an introduction, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background about Jeff Vinik. He purchased the Tampa Bay Lightning on March 3rd in 2010, promising a comprehensive transformation of the franchise and pledging to make a significant positive impact in the Tampa Bay community, which I think he is on track to do for us. Mr. Vinik grew up in New Jersey and attended high school in New York City before graduating from Duke University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Engineering and Economics. Jeff went on to earn his MBA from the Harvard Business School. He was awarded Duke University's Distinguished Young Alumni Award in 1994, and he later served on the Duke University Board of Trustees. Jeff and his wife Penny reside in South Tampa and have 4 children, Danny, Jared, Kira, and Joshua. Without further ado, Jeff Vinik.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Charlotte and Gordon. Those were great. So inspirational, and I love hearing stories of entrepreneurs. Sometimes I'm called an entrepreneur. One, I can't spell it probably if you ask me to, but either before the U or you before the whatever. But I don't create. I guess we're building something, but about leaving and starting a company from scratch and all, I feel like there's always more of a blueprint or a roadmap for what some of the things I've done. So that's real entrepreneurialism. So it was great to hear your words. I'll talk about a few things today. We announced our vision plan about a little over a month ago over at the Marriott, and it was about an hour and 20-minute presentation. So I should have you out of here by about 9:35, if that's okay. I've only been allocated, but anyway. So 6 years ago, I was at the Jingle Ball, which is a concert with a good friend of mine. And my daughter was down sitting in floor seats with a friend of hers, and my friend and I were up on the concourse level. This was up in Lowell, Massachusetts, having a couple of glasses of wine. And I looked over at him and said, okay, I'm turning 50 years old, don't like to play golf. 50 years old, don't like to play golf. I like going to museums occasionally, but I don't want to go to them every day with my wife, but I like them occasionally, and we got some good ones around here. What am I going to do for fun the rest of my life? And I thought about it, and I looked over and said, I'm going to buy a hockey team. 100% true story, has been verified when my friend comes back here and he gets grilled by people who I've told this story to. Absolutely true. So what do? Okay, I'm going to buy a hockey team. I wake up the next morning. This is also a true story. First thing I do is go online and I Google how to buy a sports team. Right? You learn everything on the internet. And it was like, number 1, be rich. Number 2, know people. Number 3, and you go down the list, and I was like, okay. So, but what I did do that morning, I ordered about 2 or 3, 4 textbooks on sports management. Obviously, I have an economics engineering degree, MBA. I ordered some textbooks on sports management and just started educating myself as best I could to the sports industry and the various, the way leagues worked, and read on different franchises and about owners, just immerse myself in it, which was a great deal of fun to be able to reinvent myself away from the financial world and do something different and exciting and to learn. It's fun to learn new things. And after I got confident in what I was reading and started to understand the business of sports a little bit better, then I started meeting with people I knew. And in New England and Boston, I knew many of the owners, so I met with them. And I kept expanding my circle and, again, just trying to suck in as much information. People love talking about what they know and what they're good at, and it's always a great resource. So just reached out to people and learned, and eventually, about 7 months after that those original glasses of wine, I met with the commissioner, Gary Bettman, and then we talked about opportunity. We had a 3-hour meeting and lunch, talked about opportunities in the league and what it's like to be an owner, and et cetera. And 5, 6 months later, after evaluating probably about 15 different opportunities, just about every team east of the Mississippi, I'm an analyst by training, and I look at the pros and cons, and one thing I like to do is you make a list of pros and cons, and then when you're looking at that in detail, eventually your gut tells you which way to go. Like if you have more cons than pros, but you still want to do it, either you're misanalyzing or you go with your gut, and you got to figure that out. But anyway, I went with the pros and cons, and Tampa Bay and this region came out far on the top. Just, you know, I knew it was important to be part of the community and eventually would be moving to this community, so obviously, clearly, has to be a great place to live. And between weather and ability to get around pretty well and cultural institutions and the friendliness of the people, which is very unique to this area, which I preach quite a bit when I go back to my old home up in the Northeast. Great place to live, work, and play, as we say down here. Part of my mission over the next year, over the next multi-years is we're trying to make this whole area a great area. We all love it. We're all here. People who have been brought down on business love it invariably, and the friendliness of the people and the quality of life here has a lot to do with it. I was up meeting with Bank of America a couple weeks ago, the CEO of that, and I have a pretty good Rolodex, and I'm out there trying to tell people what a great place this is. And they should move their companies down here because you don't understand how good the quality of life is. You don't know how good the business climate is down here. You don't know how good a workforce we have down here. You don't know how good it is to live down here. You don't know how good it is to go to the beach and go to a museum and go to a Lightning game and a Rays game and a Bucks game and a Yankee preseason game. The Bulls games too. I got to get everybody in there. But I'll put the Lightning first. This is a great place to be, and that's a big part of where I try to spend my time. I love speaking to groups, and I love to tell people how awesome it is here and get them to join us. Everybody is so welcome in this community. So analyzed the pros and cons, ended up buying the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team. First thing we said was, we're going to be world-class on and off the ice, and second thing I did was, fortunately enough, it's all about people. What did I learn at Harvard Business School when I went there? Frankly, pay a little bit more to get the best people. Because even if they cost you 10, 20, 30, 50% more, they're 10 times as good as the second best people. And so fortunate to be able to recruit Todd Leiweke, who's CEO on the sports side and helping run the real estate, as well as Steve Yzerman, general manager of the hockey team. These two guys are the best in the business, and I could take all the credit in the world for the improvement we've had in our hockey program, again, with the people we have and with the performance on the ice, but I didn't cause that. I did have something to do with the people we hired, and that's why I feel so strongly about our hockey program in the years ahead. Speaking of hockey, we feel real good. I do look long-term when I look about it. Our goal, well, we want to win the Stanley Cup. We want to bring it back here, but our goal is, the way you do that, you can't say we're going to have a great team this year and win the cup, because a lot has to go right, including luck in any individual year. But if we can have one of the best teams in hockey year in, year out for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we are likely, probability-wise, to some one of those times, catch fire in April and May, have a hot goaltender if we have really good goaltenders, which we do in our system, and win that Stanley Cup. And we believe with the people we have in our entire organization, our scouts, our management, our young players, the people we have in our organization, our farm system. I was just up in Syracuse where our American Hockey League team plays. They're doing a great job, and they're in first place. People in our organization have positioned us to be one of the best hockey teams, you know, for the foreseeable future, which I'm very proud about. As for this year's team, we're in first place right now, but if you really look at the standings closely in the East, there are 8 teams that are roughly tied for first place. If we lose 3 games in a row, we could go from first to 4th in our division and 8th in the East like that. The key in hockey, it's always going to be close. 51% of the games, it's a great sport, 51% of the games are decided by 1 goal, which is amazing. The key in hockey is to make the playoffs, to be hopefully not injured at that time of year. That's a huge luck factor. Have a hot goalie, and hopefully you go on a roll in the playoffs. And there have been numerous examples of teams that finished 8th in their conference and actually went and won the Stanley Cup. Los Angeles Kings have done that, did that a few years ago. They made the playoffs on the last day of the season, ended up winning the cup. So do we want to finish first in our division? Yes. Do we think we have the capability of doing that? Yes. Will we do that? I don't know. But we, number 1, 2, and 3, want to make the playoffs. And we made the playoffs last year. Our young guys were young. And we got swept 4-0 by the Montreal Canadiens, and partly because Bishop was injured and didn't play, but also partly because it's a learning experience. And frankly, I don't think a lot of the guys on our team were ready for that stage, the quickness of the game. It goes to a higher level in the playoffs. and boom, 6 days later on the calendar, it was over before we even knew it started. Great, it's part of the process of young teams developing. And, you know, if we're fortunate enough to make the playoffs this year, we're in good shape, as I said. I think we're going to see a much more mature team on the ice and, you know, hopefully a long run in the playoffs. So when I bought the Lightning, we were able to purchase, beside the team and the lease on the building, county-owned building, we were able to purchase parking lots on either side, the west lot and the east lot, which are about 4 or 5 acres of land. Also, I did recognize that there was a lot of acreage around the building that wasn't built on, that was mainly surface parking lots in, you know, pretty much all the areas south of the crosstown. But there were also great anchors in the region, whether it's the Amalie Arena, the Marriott Waterside, the Convention Center, the Tampa Bay History Museum, the aquarium, and the ports. That's 3 million people that come in and out of our region. So we're fortunate enough to be able to purchase the land on either side of the arena. But over time, we saw you know, all these vacant lots, and many of them were available for sale. And we formed a most generic sounding company we could, Strategic Property Partners, so hopefully people wouldn't notice us. And we were really in the depths of the Great Recession at the time, and we were able to, piece by piece, able to purchase, I don't know, it must be about 8 or 10 pieces of real estate, virtually all of the real estate south of the Crosstown Expressway. At the time, frankly, I didn't know what would be going on right now and what we would be trying to do. At the time, I thought, well, this is real estate at a reasonable price, not a cheap price, but half the price it was at the peak, but that was way overinflated. Real estate in a major downtown, surrounded by water on 3 sides. I knew that I'm here for the long term, and I'm building everything for the long term. I knew that someday this could be worth a good amount of money and it'd be a great investment. I know it's always good to own or control contiguous real estate. My wife taught me that with residential. It seems like it always is contiguous, but it's generally a good thing to, I don't know if taught's the right word, but generally good to own contiguous real estate. And I also knew maybe someday we'd figure out something to do with this and it would be, we could create something really good, but at that time didn't know what it would be and didn't know in what direction we would go. That started probably in 2010, 2011, and continued to last year, where we've been able to accumulate 40 acres. We own about 30 of it, and we manage or control about 10 acres. And now we have this great blank canvas, again, surrounding our building, surrounding the Amalie Arena, on all sides, with water on 3 sides, I should say, with great anchors in the area. And what do? Just like, what does our whole team do? Just like, I didn't go online and, you know, well, I probably did. How to build a billion-dollar real estate development. No, I didn't go online and did that, but I've been reading books, and I've been talking to experts. And over the last this has been going on about the last couple of years, we've gotten to the point where, obviously, we have many double-digit number of initiatives going on. We've been able to bring in great people throughout the organization. Todd Lewicki, as I talk about, is basically CEO of real estate. Bob Aberger, Jim Schimberg, and others from this community. We're building what we think is a terrific team of high-quality people who are willing to work 120%, who are willing to work 6 hours and 15 minutes rather than 5 hours and 45 minutes, or hopefully 18 hours and 50. But I've called the district an 18-7 district, 18 hours a day, because I said, well, you got to sleep for 6 hours. So, but we've been able to build up a great team of people to all putting our efforts together. It's great to work as a team. In my previous career in money management, it was very much just myself and other people just running our own portfolios, trying to do as well as we could for investors. It's fun to work as a team and really try to build something. And you know, I'm a very lucky guy. You know, I get to own a hockey team in this great community and try to, you know, build a great franchise. On the hockey side, and I've said this now with the press, I thought it was, well, let's get it out there. And my goals financially with the hockey team, we came in, we were losing a lot of money. Now we're not losing much money, fortunately. My long-term goal for hockey is 1, roughly break even is fine with me. 2, to have a near championship team, one of the top teams in hockey year in and year out. And 3, to be able to make a difference in the community, be good leaders in the community, to be able to give back to the community. That formula, I'll sign up for that for years and decades to come. But on the real estate side, we've been able to accumulate, accumulate the real estate, bring together a great team. And by reaching out and having a lot of meetings, and as I said, meeting with experts and reading books on real estate, understanding the trends of millennials and empty nesters moving back to the urban core. I've read 3 books on that in the last 2 months, and I have all 3 of those authors, 2 of whom are professors in sports management or urban design in various universities, coming down and spending a day with us, including one on Thursday this week, a gentleman from University of Michigan who wrote a book, Reversing Urban Decline, How Arenas and Stadiums Can Rejuvenate Areas. We want to hear what all the experts have to say, and experts in urban design and others. So we hired urban design as the architects. As our master planners, I said, we came out with the vision plan. We called it a vision plan rather than a master plan because we're still learning. Opportunities are going to come along. If we're going to put down the exact plan where every building and every park and every parking lot's going to go on this property, we're going to fail because it's going to be fluid and it's going to change over time. And I was just in Columbus seeing their development, Buffalo seeing their development. We've been to Edmonton, we've been to Fargo, we're going to LA Live, going to Austin, seeing many of these not so similar developments. A lot of these developments, they built really nice towns. If we can accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, we're building half a city here with a lot of different food groups underneath it. But we're seeing them and we're learning from them and getting inspiration from them because there's so much we can learn, especially at our young period of time right now. The major initiatives, I'm not going to go through every detail. I think everybody's probably read or seen some of what we're doing. And as I said, 18-7, live, work, play, and stay environment. We want to keep our young, smart, educated, scholars staying here. This is a great place. This is a developing place for entrepreneurialism, et cetera. We don't want to lose people to other areas of the country, and we're going to go after that and maybe do some incubator type stuff downtown to try to encourage that. But we are, if I could just be very quick, some of our major initiatives working on right now, number 1 would be roadway realignment. The grid does not work. There are 5 failed intersections in the areas that we're working around, that we're working on south of the crosstown. We're very fortunate. We've got city approval and CRA approval and county approval for infrastructure spending, $30 million of that, which is going to be necessary to get the roads right, to get the stormwater right, to get the conduits under the ground right, to get the curbs right and streetscaping right. That'll allow us to put everything in place to be able to get the USF School of Medicine and Health Heart Institute downtown. It'll allow us so that we can go ahead quick on all of these developments. So roadway realignment is going to start either the day after we win the Stanley Cup in June, or if we don't win the Stanley Cup, it'll start 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks before that, depending on when we got knocked out. Roadway realignment, and that's a 2-year job. USF School of Medicine, we had a hiccup last week up at the Board of Governors up in Jacksonville. It was nothing more than a hiccup. I strongly expect that hopefully that'll be approved by the Board of Governors in the meeting on February 19th, at which point which they recommend to the legislatures, who hopefully include it in the budget and it makes its way through. Quite confident, given the magnitude of this whole project and what it does for USF downtown is tremendous for the School of Medicine, for the ability to recruit, for the space it frees up on the campus up north. Quite confident that'll go forward. And we're talking 1 building for the School of Medicine, Heart Institute, 325,000 feet, and then a companion office building next door, about 250 with a parking garage behind. That'll all start by the end of the year. We want it all going up at the same time. We are very carefully evaluating our west slot right now between the Marriott Waterside and the Embassy Suites. Our convention business in this town is good, well run by Santiago, but it can go to a higher level. It's short on meeting room space. By adding somewhere between 50 and 150,000 square feet of meeting room space, which we're working on, we estimate that this will increase the size of the convention market that we can go after by about 30%. And already the hotels downtown in the convention area around our arena are fully booked several months of the year, run about 80% occupancy through the year. There's already demand for all rooms, so we see putting up a likely 350 to 400 key hotel, possibly with condos on top. We are examining the economic feasibility of that right now. We're deep into the numbers, talking to different flags who could be part of that hotel, and that's a high priority for us. Channelside Bay Plaza, We're working on that one as we speak. We're still working on our long-term plans there. It's a complicated situation. The port is a great partner with us. Thursday, I'm cutting a ribbon as we open Hablo Taco, a restaurant that's opening there. The mayor and I are cutting a ribbon. I think I've cut a ribbon once before, but I think the mayor has more than once. But we're putting a lot of energy. Andrew Wright of Franklin Street Partners is managing that for us and doing a great job improving that property. 12,000 people there on New Year's, and getting new tenants, and creating events and hosting activities there to make it more friendly. And we're continuing to work on that to improve it short term while we figure it out long term. Corporate office, I talked about my recruiting over the next foreseeable future. We're going to bring it's not easy, and I don't minimize the task of what we have ahead of us, but we had conversations with Mercedes, and they were interested. And again, we are able to build with a corporate office a district somewhat around them and USF, more great anchors. And this is a great place. This is an educated workforce, great quality of workforce, quality of life. We're going to get people to believe, and we're going to have success with that. Now, it may take some time, but we're going to achieve. And downtown office space, just read a study on it last night, and it's tight downtown now. If you want more than 20,000 contiguous feet, you're not going to find it. There are only like 3 or 4 floors, all of these buildings downtown that have as much as 20,000 feet open, and rents are taken off. It's very close to being economically feasible to build office, and we're going to build. We see that in hopefully the relatively near future, and it's possible with a great partner in Cascade Investments. We don't need financing for everything we do necessarily, so we could go vertical, somewhat on spec, and take a chance where others may not, just based on our confidence in what we're doing. What are other priorities? Residential, sense of place. There's so much history in this town, so much culture in this town, so much great diversity in this town. With help from our crowdsourcing, TampaWaterfront2020.com, where people can input all their ideas, the names of the district, what they think the identity of the district could be. With the help of that, we're going to make sure that our whole area is branded. It feels like it's one sense of place that is endemic to this Tampa Bay region. And we need to have wireless from one edge to the other. We need to have the same type of artwork, the same type of streetscapes, same type of architecture, the same type of music throughout. This needs to be one district that hangs together, and is, again, very much organic and complementary, symbiotic with this Tampa Bay area. And that we're working on as we go ahead. Anybody have names for the district? Feel free. Here, let's do a poll. I'm going to give you, I haven't done this before. I love not having notes because I never know what I'm going to talk about. I never know where I'm going to go. So hopefully, sometimes you really bomb, but yeah. So I'm going to do a poll here. I'm going to give you 2 choices. We're not going to vote. My guys would kill me if they knew I was doing this. We're not going to, you won't vote until after I give you the 2 choices, but I just want to get a sense. Because districts with millennials, this isn't necessarily a fully millennial crowd, but are named different things. So I'm going to try 2 differences, so if I can think of that. So don't vote until afterwards. Vote 1 would be Waterside District, and vote 2 would be Sodo, which is South Downtown. Very, very different. So how many votes do we have for Waterside District? How many votes do we have for Sodo?
That's like Frodo.
Yeah, Denver has Lodo, which is lower downtown, which has been a phenomenal success. All right, well, 65-35, that's how I see that vote. Well, that's helpful. That's helpful. Screw you guys, I'm going to do what I want anyway. The next time I talk to people in their 20s, actually, it would be interesting to do that same question and see how it comes out. So we are trying to figure that out. We are trying to brand the district. I've probably gone over here, and we need to have time for Q&As. I'm a lucky guy. As I said, I got to reinvent myself. I love the stock market. I miss being involved in the market day to day. But I love being out here. I love talking. I love meeting people. I love spreading the word of what we're doing, both in this community and beyond. I love trying to build, again, with the help of the community. It takes everybody here. It takes the politicians and the businesses and the faith-based organizations and the citizens. It's going to take all of us, and we want to hear from everybody to do this right. But it's a fun thing to be able to try to create something, hopefully, that'll be here for generations to come. And if we just benefit the downtown core by what we're going to do here, that's nice. But what we have to do, it's even more than rising tide lifts all boats. This has to be positive for this entire Tampa Bay region and the whole Hillsborough County and over in the Pinellas and other counties, et cetera. If we do this right, it's all connected, and people will come in because they have new jobs, and they'll drive down to even with our waterfront, they'll drive down to St. Pete. This needs to be all connected, and we need to do this all as an entire community. And I promise you, I feel great about where we're going. I think we have the right people in place to do it. I think it's the right time with our mayor and the other leaders in this community to get this done, and the people in this room and the people outside this room. I think Mayor Buckhorn's right. It's our time. It's our moment. I don't steal those lines, so I may say it without saying it, but those are his lines. We think we're in the right place at the right time, and we're just, I love getting up in the morning. We're pumped about what we're going to do. So thank you very much.